Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. Now today's video is the first ever episode of Wiz Reviews. In a nutshell, it's going to be a brief, no pun intended, well actually the pun is completely intended, whiz through of course the episodes of Monday Night Raw and of course SmackDown. Now there's a slightly new schedule popping up on the channel. I did want to add a little bit more variety to the channel. It feels a little bit one trick pony when it comes to the Wyatt Six and all the theory videos. Those, by the way, will still remain. We're still going to do those. I'll probably pop a couple of those a week up, but I'm also going to add reviews, and also I'm going to do a few top 10 videos as well, the best and worst of series as well on here. So there's going to be loads more coming, so stay tuned. And I wanted this to feel proper informal. It's so informal. I've got my little wizard here, Wendell, and I've also got my coffee mug as well, my theme mug as well. So I don't want any takes. I just want this to be completely raw, my personal opinion of each show. And of course, the whole point in all of this is for you, the wrestling fans, the subscribers, to jump down in the comment section, share your thoughts and opinions on Raw. What did you like? What did you dislike? And what did you absolutely detest? Now, I have made notes because obviously I'm not going to remember off the top of my head everything that happened on WWE Raw. But of course, I'm going to kick things off with the Wyatt Six versus American Made in the 8-man. Well, not technically man really, was it, when you've got Nikki Cross and of course Ivy Nile involved. But regardless, an 8-person street fight, which was absolutely badass. Of course, the Wyatt Six getting the victory. Uncle Howdy getting involved at the end. He couldn't stand it anymore. He had to get involved. Smashed the Sister Abigail. And of course, the Wyatt Six got the victory. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm quite happy to see this feud come to an end. I love the Wyatt Six, obviously. I'm a massive fan of the Wyatt Six. It's pretty obvious on this channel, right? But I also feel that American Made deserve a little bit better. They've taken a lot of losses through this feud. And I know they won't be damaged because Chad Gable is a fantastic performer. The Creed brothers are awesome. And also I really dig Ivy Nile. But I think it's time for them to move on. Use this Wyatt Six feud as like a catalyst to go on to bigger and better things. Now, there were quite a few things that I enjoyed from this match. I really enjoyed the segment when Nikki Cross was battering Ivy Nile with a kendo stick while she had a trash can on her head as well. I thought that was a really cool visual. And talking of Nikki Cross as well, I thought the presentation of her without her mask was actually spot on. Equally, if not more terrifying than when she's got the mask on as well. I think she sold her facial expressions really well. And you can clearly see that Nikki Cross was quite emotional at the end as well. Wrestling for the first time as part of the Wyatt Six and taking her career to another level. She surely will get a lot more spotlight, deservedly so, as part of the Wyatt Six as well. Another spot I really liked was when Ivy Nile used the fire extinguisher on Eric Rowan, and then of course you had the Creed brothers send Eric Rowan through the table. But that didn't stop Eric Rowan, because another point I really liked, the third point I really liked for the match, was when he ripped the barricade completely off its hinges. I think it actually has hinges, but you know what I mean. It ripped it off the side and battered the American Made side with it. I quite enjoyed it. I thought the match delivered overall. I thought it was a great opener to the show as well. But I am ready for Uncle Howdy and Co. to move on to bigger and better things. Now, I do also have another series coming out called The Devil's in the Detail, where we will basically theorize anything in regards to Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six. And I have a new video with that coming up later on this week. But overall, I thought it was a win. Now in my notes here, I've made a point in regards to Finn Balor. Of course, we got a promo between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And not only that, we of course got confirmation that we're going to get Damian Priest versus Finn Balor at Bad Blood. Now, to be honest with you, I've been on the Finn Balor wagon for a while. And I kind of dig the way he's feeling in regards to Damian Priest. He hasn't forgot. Finn Balor has not forgotten about SummerSlam 2023, and he feels when he was part of the Judgment Day alongside Damian Priest that essentially he was just his lackey. He used the term, what was it I put in my notes? sidekick. There you go, right? He felt like he was a sidekick to Damian Priest. And you could argue he was. He's lacked that aura since being part of the Judgment Day. But since being part of the new Judgment Day, no one's a leader, they're all equals. I feel we're seeing this more villainous, vicious side of Finn Balor. And I like that WWE are alluding to that as well, that Finn Balor has lost a little bit of something. And hopefully that reunites when, of course, he faces Damian Priest at Bad Blood. Now, I'm on the side of, yes, I'm a huge fan of Damian Priest, and I think he did a fantastic job in that short-term period with the World Heavyweight title. I think he overachieved with that, to be honest with you. But I kind of want to see Finn Balor get a victory here. He's doing some fantastic work. I thought it was a really good showing. The way he viciously attacked Rey Mysterio, like literally wouldn't let go of his left knee, his already injured knee. And I thought that added to this sort of villainous side, vicious, dangerous side of Finn Balor that we want to see more of. We want to see Finn Balor get some more W's. And I think even going way back that Finn Balor should have beat Edge that time at WrestleMania. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a massive Finn Balor fan. But I think it was a really, really good showing from Balor. And of course, Priest always holds his own. I think he does a good job as well. Many people aren't a fan of this because they feel this should be saved for maybe WrestleMania. But to be honest with you, you could have, like Drew McIntyre in CM Punk, this go on for ever and a day. And maybe, just maybe, it ends at WrestleMania in a rubber match between the two of them. Although I can't really see it going on that long. But never say never, right? So I said there was going to be no cuts in this video, and then Wendell just decides to slide off the microphone. So I had to do a little bit of a reset, pause, and collect my thoughts for the next segment. Which, by the way, how can we not talk about this? Bret Hart, Gunther, and Sami Zayn in the ring at the same time in 2024. That's right, Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best that there ever will be. What a segment. Of course, Bret Hart with the nostalgia feels, and then of course Gunther coming out and pretty much roasting Bret the Hitman Hart, disrespecting Bret the Hitman Hart. And it certainly feels like Gunther's formula of 2024. He praises a superstar, or legend in this case, and then rips them down. Praised initially, Bret Hart, said that in a way I suppose he idolised him, that he was one of the superstars that inspired him to get into WWE. And then he goes, well, you're not my first favourite, you're kind of my second favourite. Again, completely flips the switch like he does, and the disrespect was on another level. Said that Bill Goldberg was essentially his idol, his favourite superstar. And we all know the storyline. Well, you should do if you're a WWE fan or you watched WCW back in the day. Because, of course, if you go all the way back to Starrcade, 1999, God, it feels such a long time ago now. And the match between Bret, the Hitman Hart, and Goldberg. Goldberg basically, in a nutshell, delivered a really dodgy super kick. And essentially this ended Bret Hart's career. He got a horrific concussion from it. And the rest is history. So to say that is like disrespect on another level. After the disrespect, Sami Zayn did sort of get involved and slap Gunther up a little bit. And of course provoked him maybe a little bit more to accept the match between the two of them. Because surely the inevitable is going to happen. And we're going to get Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. You could definitely see, if you're peeling the mask away from Gunther and you're peeling away the curtain and the kayfabe completely, that deep down the performer portraying Gunther is like a kid in a candy store. The fact that he gets to have a segment with one of his idols in Bret Hart. What a segment. I absolutely loved it. Now, brushing through a little bit of homework, I like to say, because these aren't matches, to be honest with you, I'm completely intrigued with. But of course, we did see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair defend the tag team championships against Unholy Union. And I don't know how I feel about this, because I am a huge fan of Unholy Union and I don't really see where they go next. And every time I see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill as tag team champions, I just think of the split, the inevitable split, and them facing one another inevitably at WrestleMania next year. Surely that's going to happen. And it just feels like we've got this waiting game until then. And I can't get particularly behind the tag team titles in the women's division because they don't invest enough in them anyway. And another piece of news, which was kind of a big deal, Adam Pearce finally confirmed what we kind of already knew, that we were going to get the rubber match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk at Bad Blood. But not just that, in a Hell in the freaking Cell. And honestly, I cannot wait for it. I know it's been 9 months or so that this feud has gone on, and I know WWE fans are sick and tired of it, to be honest, at this point. But it makes sense to end their feud at Hell in the Cell. And do you know what? That is going to be one hell, no pun intended, of course, of a match. WWE, Creative and Triple H are fully aware this has gone on for too long, this rivalry. When you've got an injury angle there as well with CM Punk, which we've had, of course, at the start of the year, these feuds are going to go on longer than you'd want them to go on, but this is going to go down as one of the best rivalries in a long time. But one thing I know as a WWE fan for sure is I never want to see ever again that bracelet of CM Punk's. I know CM Punk had it destroyed via Drew McIntyre in kayfabe, but I don't want to see it re-emerge. I really don't. I'm done and dusted with that bracelet. Let's move on. Let's end the feud there at Hell in the Cell, where it could go either way. And of course, on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, we saw main event Jey Uso come out victorious in the Fatal 4-Way match for #1 contendership for the IC title. And to be honest with you, I haven't got a problem with that. I do think there's going to definitely be some screwjob shenanigans in the matchup between Jey Uso and, of course, the current IC champion in Bron Breakker. I don't think in a million years that Bron Breakker is going to drop the title this soon, but never say never. I've just got a feeling that either the Judgment Day, because lately Jey Uso has been coming out and saving the Terror Twins' arses when it comes to the Judgment Day beatdowns, mainly because Jey Uso fancies mummy, right? I mean, who doesn't? Oh, you can't really blame Jey there, but I do reckon that's going to come to haunt him, and the new Judgment Day are going to screw Jey Uso. Or maybe, taking it a step even further, that the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, the Bloodline 2.0, run by that wannabe tribal chief in Solo Sikoa, cost Jey, and that's the arc into the Bloodline war at Survivor Series, potentially. But overall, I thought it was a really, really decent match. Thoroughly deserved victory for Jey Uso. I don't like how much Dragunov is losing. I do think over time more fans generally are going to warm to him and see that he has a really cool character and personality and his almost cartoon-esque facial expressions, the way he sells to the moon. He can kill it in the ring. Like, I don't mind him taking losses at the moment, but I think over time, the fact that he was one of the main star attractions on NXT, I'd like to see a little bit more from Dragunov in terms of getting a little bit more spotlight when the time is right. But I appreciate not everybody can have the spotlight. I loved the spot with Bronson Reed, of course, coming back to haunt Braun Strowman as well, costing Braun Strowman. That spot through the table was absolute fire. Overall, pretty decent match. And I'm not really going to complain with the Jey Uso victory, mainly because I think this will progress the Judgment Day storyline and potentially the Bloodline storyline heading into this year's Survivor Series. Now, to summarise the review, I have also made a few little notes in regards to a few noteworthy points to bring up. Of course, the Raw being moved to 2 hours under the USA Network till the end of the year until they move to Netflix. What do you think about that? Would you like to see the show 2 hours? Do you think this means that SmackDown on the other side is going to go to 3? Kind of feels like a weird exchange, bearing in mind the fact that Raw is absolutely killing it and certainly feeling like the A show at the moment. But I do know and appreciate Roman Reigns being on SmackDown at the moment. Of course, it's going to bring those numbers back up. The way I look at it, I think if more viewers tune in under the 2-hour format in the lead up to the new year, if the viewership goes up, they might consider, Netflix that is, consider bumping up to 3 hours if they can justify it. So if you're a fan of 3 hours, then tune into Raw every single week. If you're not, then maybe don't. They can justify too. Also, I made a point about the New Day getting a shot at the tag team titles, the world tag team titles against the Judgment Day soon. Surely they're going to lose that. And of course, we also cannot forget about the return of Natalya. Great to see Natalya back alongside, of course, Lyra and Zelina. They defeated Pure Fusion Collective. Get onto that in a moment, in a second. Can't stand the name. And great to see Natalya back, to be honest with you. I don't think she gets enough credit for what she's done, her contribution towards the women's division in WWE. I mean, she's had more 3-week builds to then lose to the at the time champion than I can ever imagine. But Natalya is always that utility weapon that you can utilize at, say, some lesser PLEs and take on the champion at the time and elevate them and make them look stronger, because there's no shame to losing to Natalya. She's a veteran of the women's division. She's done it all. And Pure Fusion Collective, I still can't take him seriously with that name. When I think of PFC, I think of KFC. Honestly, and I'm not saying they're a KFC faction, because individually they're pretty awesome. Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler individually are badass, but I just think there's something missing. I just don't think they get much of a reaction from the fans, and I don't really see where they're going with this faction. To build them up as this menacing weapon of a faction to then take this loss here, which, yeah, teams win and lose, and okay, it's fine. It's in Canada. It's Natalya and her side. But going forward, I don't have much optimism for, I go to say KFC, PFC. I don't, but that's just my personal opinion. And to wrap things up, of course, Dominic Mysterio defeated Dragon Lee. Let's not miss that out. And the whole Judgment Day shenanigans, beating down, of course, the Terror Twins, and then Jey Uso coming to the rescue and all that. But also along the way, in the Dragon Lee Dominic Mysterio match, of course, they basically teased, without making it blatantly obvious, that we're going to get the LWO in a feud with the Judgment Day moving forward. And I don't mind that, to be honest with you. Of course, there's so much history between Dominic Mysterio and the LWO and all of that. Kind of makes sense. I just hope poor old Rey Mysterio doesn't get betrayed again, because I feel like he gets beat down left, right and centre and betrayed left, right and centre in this current WWE climate. Of course, let's also not forget to wrap up the fact that Rhea Ripley is getting her shot, her hands on Liv Morgan at Bad Blood for the Women's World Championship. And I think, just like Finn Balor said, both of the former members of the Judgment Day in Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are going to fall to the new Judgment Day. And I think that's actually going to happen. That's a slight prediction. I think that Liv is actually going to retain. And I do actually think that Finn Balor is going to defeat Damian Priest. Both of them are going to fall victim to the new Judgment Day. I do have a crazy theory that I'm going to discuss in my predictions video for Bad Blood, involving Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and why I think we're going to see Rhea Ripley go in a slightly different direction, and potentially Damian Priest soon. That'll come to the channel soon. But thank you for watching the video. I know this went on a little bit longer than I probably anticipated. I will keep these a little bit more condensed as we go on, but I like the whole informal kind of just have a chat about it like you're talking to a mate about a show, like I do with my mates when we talk about a show. We'll talk for hours. So to get this in, under 20 minutes is quite an achievement. What did you think of the show? Get down in the comments section. What did you like? What did you dislike? What are you looking forward to next coming up? And what are you looking forward to on this week's episode of SmackDown? Now, I am going to be posting at least, I promise, 4 times a week now moving forward. I'm going to have a show review every Tuesday, show review every Saturday for obviously Raw and SmackDown. They will be out at 7 PM BST, British Standard Time, okay? All my videos will come out at 7 PM. It just keeps it simple. You know when they're coming. And there will also be videos on Thursdays and Sundays. Bit of wyattsicks theories in there, and some random videos as well thrown in there as well, to give a little bit more to all WWE fans with all different tastes. Thank you for watching the video. As always, it'd be so much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next one.